Folk and Flick, my imaginary friends, my beloved acquaintances, and my real friends. I continue to read Unqualified Reservations and find it extremely interesting. I'm learning a lot from it. The references are fantastic, and the anecdotes that Curtis chooses to use in his essays, in his chapters, from an open letter to open-minded progressives, is phenomenal, and it's useful. And it also corrects a lot of misconceptions, I think, about his brand of reactionary reactionism or reactionariness or whatever, whether it's a neo-reactionary or dark reactionary or light reactionary. I don't know how to define it. I'm not exactly sure how he characterizes himself in that situation. I mean, as a reactionary. But anyway, really good stuff. I think that it proves one thing for sure. Progressives don't know what reactionaries think or believe. And there is at least one reactionary that I know of that understands progressives well, and in a generous sense, in an open-minded sense, in a considerate, sincere sense, right? Not just trying to take the piss, not just trying to own the libs and all that kind of thing. He's a true intellectual, and he spent a lot of time with his thought and with the material, the reading, and therefore has a lot to give his readers. When I heard him speak and heard him in conversation, there were a few things that kind of I thought were a little bit surprising. He talks about Elon Musk a lot. I don't think Elon would make a very good king, but I think he can do better than that. I'm not sure what he's trying to do when he references certain kinds of people. A protest vote for Trump against Hillary. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So you vote if you think you have to, but still voting for an idiot con man is kind of idiotic, in my opinion. But I'm not saying Curtis Yarvin is. He's not. But, there are some things there that are just kind of, I see as kind of just a Republican type of thing, in the sense that when some idiot says, I alone can fix it, that sounds kind of regal, and so it's attractive. So you think, oh, okay, maybe this guy's the guy. But if you take a half a minute to look into the dude, he's an entertainer. He's not the stuff kings are made of. And I wonder who is. For example, my king would understand the value of a little Kaizen. And my king would be able to converse across domains of science, and he would understand some engineering, and he would understand tactics and strategies of warfare. And he would be wise in the sense that he would be slow as could be, to figure out what to do to maintain security in the realm. So yeah, I love the way he defines things and takes you on a journey and makes you believe that there's something more coming. And there always is something more coming as you read Curtis Yarvin. I'm a progressive in the sense that I grew up in this world. And if you grow up in this world, you're a progressive. And if you think, you're also reactionary.
Was he a reactionary or a revolutionary?
Chapter 3.
And I say that he was a revolutionary, which he himself says. There's no question about it. I mean, he uses the word reaction as a bad word. He says Churchill is an old reactionary, Churchill, and, you know, he hates reactionaries. He himself says a revolutionary, and he did achieve some revolutionary things. Now, you see, the Germans don't like this because, unlike the United States, unlike France, unlike Britain, the Germans never had a successful revolution. You see, when the Germans tried to have a democratic revolution in 1848-49 Frankfurt, they failed. And so in Germany, revolutionary is still a positive word. You know, when I see revolutionary, people say, oh, he's praising Hitler. I don't like revolutionaries. I like reactionaries.
Why?
Because you stop reacting when you're dead. Then you don't react anymore. All human thinking is, in a way, reacting. And we have to react against many accepted ideas. Right now, what the world is coming to, we have to react against the accepted idea of progress.
Give us an example.
Well, you know, that technological progress, pollution, progress in pornography, technology, freedom of speech, behavior, and so forth. It's not that good.
Why?
Because because human nature does not change. The human idea of progress is a human invention. There is no evolution in human character and in the human mind.
How do you stop the change?
You don't stop the change, but you have to look at the quality of the change. Change in itself is not necessarily good. Just like stability. Change can be good or bad. Stability can be good or bad. It's a question of quality. And unfortunately, computers, quantification, numbers, technology, we emphasize, our judgment of quality has become weaker and weaker. And all human life, everything in our life is a problem of quality.
But understanding what a reactionary is in the pure sense of how Curtis Yarvin means it is different, but it's very simple. It's hard to get away from progressivism in this period of history, and has been for a long time, because science, engineering, and technology, and it allows for a lot of things and a lot of rapid changes that are not always thought through very wisely or considered very wisely. That's my problem. And also, I like traditional culture, as I've said before. So, yeah, I don't know if the Tokugawa shogunate from the very beginning or the end of it was idyllic. Nothing has been, nothing probably ever will be. But I think that when people agree to live according to certain rules and norms that are designed to keep you healthy and safe and secure and kind of allow you to have a life within reasonable constraints that are meaningful and deep, I think probably most people can get on with life pretty good. So, you know, Mormonism, or, you know, you're a Quaker, or you're a Moonie or whatever. Maybe if you surrender to that world and live within it, in community with your people, you're not as miserable as some liberals might want to think you are. You know, oh my God, you mean I can't wake up tomorrow morning and do exactly what I think I want to do by virtue of having been influenced by some internet thing. And oh my God, I'm going to throw a temper tantrum if I can't, you know. So, oh gosh, I have a superpower, but if I use it, I'm going to hurt a lot of people. So why can't I use it? Wah, 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 you know. we live within constraints whether we like it or not, and circumstances will dictate how powerful those constraints are. For example, I'm getting older, and that's a battle I cannot win. So I think Curtis, who's young 50, is a kid, and I thought 40-year-olds were kids when I was 50, and I'm still a kid, and I'm in my 60s. So go figure. Anyway, I continue to live, and that's a good thing for me and mine. But it will end. What comes after, who knows? Anything can happen. One thing that I liked about what I was reading recently with Curtis was that you assume that progress is a good thing. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe nuclear weapons aren't a good thing now that we're having a World War III in Europe, right? Maybe it's going to wind up being a terrible thing. Maybe it was a good thing because it more or less kept the peace during the Cold War. Did it really? Well, yeah, self-preservation is a strong motivation for not doing something, like jumping off a cliff or pushing the button. But anyway, we'll see, He was writing an article in Gray Mirror about AI, general intelligence, and all that stuff, and saying, don't panic about it. And I love the reference to, what's a really smart guy going to do talking to an ignorant bug? I'm having a very, very deep and productive conversation with a cockroach. So what's the cockroach going to do? Nothing. It's going to continue being a cockroach until I step on it. And I may not have any incentive whatsoever to step on the cockroach. Therefore, maybe humans are my best friend, just like dogs are a man's best friend, I've always said for years that I hope that the super intelligent robots treat me like a pet, just like I hope my wife continues to treat me like a pet, because pets get treated pretty well. So anyway, I'll end now because I could go on, and I really should write something first, even though it's hard to do it. I got so many things to do around the farm and projects and so on. But anyhow, read Curtis Yarvin, subscribe to Gray Mirror. It's worth it. I don't care if you think he's crazy. He's definitely not a fascist, and learning about fascism is a good thing, but you should learn about fascism from a variety of sources, just like you should learn about anything from a variety of sources, which is why at globehackers.com, links we love, I have a variety of sources there, because there are different points of view about things, and they are real in our world and have to be understood to be dealt with. You can't oppose something you don't understand. You can't be for something you don't understand, even though you think you're for something that you know nothing about. You're not really for it. You're just a slave to fashion, or you're just a part of a mob or egregore or hive mind or whatever. Yeah, I'm a Republican because my daddy is a Republican, whatever. One time, Curtis asked me if I'd always been a Republican. I said, I'm not anything. I don't affiliate with U.S. Political organizations, because I think for a long time it's been kind of an absurd situation for a lot of reasons, but whatever. I protest, I refrain, so I'm a bad guy, I guess. But I haven't seen anybody worth voting for in a long time, and every time I vote for somebody, I get disappointed. I'm not talking about local politics because I haven't lived in the United States for a long time, so what would I know? But as far as the president goes, bleh. I still don't understand the whole monarchy thing totally. I know what kind of monarch I want. maybe I should write something about that, but I should learn a little bit more about monarchs before I do that. And having read history, that doesn't mean I really know that much about Charles the First or Elizabeth the First, or, you know, yeah, I've read about King Henry VIII, but what do I know about the Stuarts and so on and so forth? And there's been a lot of monarchs throughout history all over the place, and monarchies take different forms. So I'm not so sure about the, you know, chartered company type monarch. Definitely, absolutely opposed to Elon Musk being any kind of king. I don't think you can have a bullshitter as king. A king has to be sincere, extremely devout in all senses, and has to have some humility from somewhere, from some greater power beyond himself, and has to know a lot of shit. You got to have a good education to be a good king. Uh, you know, Otherwise, you're going to get knifed, you're going to get assassinated, or you're going to just make a muddle of everything, but you're not going to have absolute power for long because people won't stand for it. So, yeah, you need a wise guy, really wise guy, not a Goomba. If you're going to have a king, exercising absolute power for the good and safety and health and security of the people. Now, everybody's going to find their place in a society because not everybody's a genius like Curtis, but we all should be able to find our place, and we should have a good enough education so that if there is another Einstein or great poet or musician or thinker, philosopher in the world out of a cohort of babies, they should have the opportunity to achieve their destinies should they want to grab hold of it. Not everybody will, but you don't want to waste human resources. So by keeping people ignorant, yeah, I love ignorant people. Well, what kind of value are you losing? Okay. So if there's any value to the king in better agriculture, better medicine, better, more transparent science, better processes for management, and so on and so forth, he should know about these things and should encourage people to achieve the best they can in their life. So you don't have to be a Nietzschean hero to do that necessarily, or ascribe to any other heroic traditions or bullshit about heroicism just to get you to volunteer to become cannon fodder. A real hero, you know one when you see one, when you experience the results of those acts and the stories that follow, if they touch you in the right way. Anyway, yeah, I gotta stop. Anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and hope you'll subscribe and stick with me because I'm going to try to get better at this. And go to Globe Hackers, see if there's anything there in the books or whatever that's interesting to you. Comment, make suggestions, put me on the right path. I'm here. I'm open. And take good care. Have a really wonderful rest of the week. Bouliam tea.